all of those amazing suggestions on a quality meeting. We're next going to move on to our next session. Our next session is a workshop that focuses on membership engagement and retention, titled Satisfy Your Members and Keep Them Coming Back. This session is hosted by our 2020-2021 Division Directors, Division A Director, Marci Antion, Innovative Planning Level 5 from the South Hills Toastmasters Club, and Division C Director, Carol Snyder, DTM, from the Monroeville, Penn Hills, and Achievers Clubs. Both Marci and Carol are looking forward to becoming charter members of the Just Speaking Club. Ladies, the floor is yours.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, our Toastmaster, Julia Wick. May I ask our Zoom master to please make myself and Carol Snyder a co-host so I may screen share. And as Julia mentioned, our presentation today is about member retention. Member retention means keeping your members satisfied and keeping them engaged, keep them coming back for more to continue on with your Toastmasters Club and growing as much as possible as they can in their time spent with you. Thank you, Steve. Let me take a second to share my screen. And that is not the screen I wish to share. Sorry about that. It would be this screen. Does everyone see member retention and engagement?
Yep.
Ah, wonderful. Yes. Thank you so much. Let me go ahead and put that on full slide for you. So we wish to satisfy our members and keep them coming back. We're going to focus on retaining our members, which means satisfying our members and helping them to achieve their goals, as well as to re-engage members that may be sort of falling out of the club or perhaps have taken a bit of a break from your club. So that is the agenda, and our objectives today are to develop strategies to retain your members. Okay, and then strategies to re-engage your past members. I'm going to be talking about retaining members, and my co-host today, Carol, will be talking about re-engaging our past members. So think about, why do members feel satisfied in Toastmasters? We just learned about everything it takes to create a quality meeting in our last session. Those types of quality meetings where there is a feeling of community and a feeling of accomplishing your goals continues to engage your members and to make them feel satisfied with their experience in their time in your Toastmasters Club. Everything we do is together. We're growing together as a community. So what we're going to focus on today a bit is what brings people to Toastmasters. What brings them to Toastmasters, and what are their goals? When a new member signs up for Toastmasters, or a member has been with Toastmasters for a short amount of time, feel welcome to put in some goals in the chat box. Carol will monitor that. And while you're typing away, I'd like to highlight some of my members from South Hills Toastmasters, because actually each of our clubs have individual reasons. Their goals aren't put all into one tight-knit little box, are they? We all have different reasons for being attracted to the Toastmasters experience. So one of my members, Victoria Livingston, her goal can be described as possibly professional development. She was asked by the CEO of her company to join Toastmasters. And in fact, as part of her work, she had to provide product presentations to customers. And it was very imperative that she be a very poised speaker, so have wonderful public speaking skills in order to sell her presentations in front of her customers. This is one of the common goals that you may come across with some of your members, why they joined your club. And I'm proud to say Victoria joined our club in South Hills Toastmasters in 2018. Goals. When we identify the goals of our members, when they join Toastmasters, we as club officers and as club members know what it is that we can help our members with. In the case of Victoria, sounds like she would like to become a more poised and confident speaker for a professional work environment. So that's something you want to continually think about when you think about your members. Think about that goal that they have and think about every little step that they take on their journey, from their icebreaker to their next speech to any of their meeting roles, and encourage their progress in their goals and always kind of help them keep that goal in mind. Learn how members expect to measure progress towards their goal. Now, this is an interesting one because the goal of having more confidence, that can often be a difficult thing to actually measure. But if you continually put encouraging words and show the improvements of your members with that particular goal, confidence can feel like it has been achieved. And identify, there are different member goals. Sometimes you'll have someone very, very confident, loves to speak. They may be there because this is finally the place where they can exercise their hobby. So it's really important to understand why new members actually have joined your club. And as club officers, it's important for us to think about, what types of members may have similar goals, and think about team building between those members. So when we think about goals, I'm pleased to tell you that Toastmasters created a wonderful exploratory survey of our new members. Now, this survey was taken in 2019, and tons of statistics. And there is actually a top 10 of new member goals. So we thought we would make this a little fun and play Toastmaster Family Feud. There is no losing in Toastmasters Family Feud. We're going to break into 2 teams. And we thought maybe the easiest way is you could just say you're in team 1, which means you would be above the age of 45. And team 2 below the age of 44. And using the chat box, we're going to see if we can identify the top reasons for member goals. Can you see my screen okay? Family Feud?
Yep.
Yes.
Yay, that's great to hear. All right, so team 1, 45 and above. Team 2, 45 and below. Hold on a second, let's get it started. All right, Carol, please help me monitor the chat box. And let's ask team 1, what do you think is one of the top goals that our members are looking for when they join Toastmasters?
Hey, better public speaking.
What was get better at speaking?
Yes, better public speaking.
Better public speaking.
Conquer fear of public speaking. Yes.
All right, 30 points. Team won. Great job.
Okay. Promotion at work.
Promotion at work. That sounds like a great professional goal. Great job.
More speaking confidence.
Build confidence for public speaking. Survey says.
Leadership skills. We have several people that said that.
Leadership skills. Oh boy, I think that's this one. Improve leadership skills. All right.
Improve English.
Improve English. Yes, increase English fluency. Great.
Hey, we have some other ones here. Networking.
Networking.
Yes.
All right. Social connections and networking. All right.
Lead a meeting.
Lead a meeting. Well, you know, all these answers are correct. I'm going to maybe put that into other goals.
And somebody actually did say coach others. So we've met.
Oh, well, they got those points.
Okay.
All right. What are we missing?
Friendly talk.
Well, that probably falls into presentation skills.
And people there actually, yes, people did say presentation skills.
Yeah, it's really hard. A lot of these have a little bit of crossover, don't they? Some of these goals. Very good, everyone. This was so much fun. As you can see, kind of hard to calculate the points, but I think everybody did a great job. So a survey of 10,000 Toastmasters came up with these primary goals that our new members are looking for and hoping to accomplish when they join Toastmasters. And so all of your points were actually the percentages of this particular survey. Now I'm going to go back into the other PowerPoint. And just summarize that up, right? So the 10 new member goals from crowdsourcing, you all got them, right? Building confidence and becoming a more effective speaker compromises 60% of the primary goal or the primary reason that members join our clubs. And then these goals can be associated with specific skill building, such as having a tight presentation. Just overall, your presentation skills are great. Leadership skills are great. Increase in language fluency. And of course, achieving those professional goals like getting that promotion at work or perhaps stepping up in the company. So the most important factor they found from this crowdsourcing activity was whether a member expects to stay after reaching their goal. And if members do stay, it tends to be whether or not that goal is really important to them personally. So this was a very interesting outcome. And the reason why we played Toastmasters Family Feud is because this is the pie chart, and who can remember this, right? But this basically summarizes those major goals. You know, the orange and the pink are both about confidence in public speaking and becoming an effective speaker. And surprisingly, networking and social connections for our new members when they join are not as well represented in our new members. And interestingly enough, they also found that our members do vary a little bit by age. Now, I'm not sure we were able to see that by having our different teams sorted by age, But networking with others, very interesting, is one of the primary goals that tends to be chosen by our younger members when they begin their Toastmaster experience. Understanding goal patterns. So these goal patterns are important for a club. All of our clubs are unique. Maybe you have a club composed of mostly young professionals. And then networking with others would be a goal that may be more important for those members. Members joining company clubs, for example, are more likely to focus on business-related goals like leadership skills, presentation skills, networking, and professional goals. Whereas community clubs do tend to have more social connection types of goals that they find in Toastmasters. So now that we know some of the goals and what actually keeps members activated in Toastmasters, I'd like to talk a little bit about some of the members of my club. I highlight my club because I know these members quite well. And Dominic Gray, he is the president this year of South Hills Toastmasters, and he's a very unusual Toastmaster in the sense that he is on the younger spectrum, at least in our club. So he did join our club when he was 19. He joined because he was interested during his high school years by the World Championships of Public Speaking. And when he joined our club, he had been taking a short break from college, and he thought that Toastmasters would represent an alternative way to continue to educate himself. So his goal is a bit about lifelong learning, along with that professional development that you have when you're in those college years. And very interestingly, his goal has been met, right, with a bit of an outcome, where he says that Toastmasters has taught me much more than any schooling and has made what I hope to be some lifelong connections. Another member of my club, Brenda Holt-Woman, who I feel so much camaraderie for, has a very similar story to my own, which is that she has joined Toastmasters to build confidence in public speaking, and confidence in leadership. Now, we might all know a story of somebody who once visited Toastmasters a long time ago, didn't quite understand what it was about, but then joined much later. And the reasons why she joined those goals: she was tired of being nervous, jealous of perhaps other coworkers or other people looking so relaxed during conference meetings and presentations, and frustrated by the fact that she didn't feel that way. She didn't feel as relaxed to be the center of attention, to be seen and heard. So when you have a goal like that, it's important that your club nurtures an outcome of confidence for this member. And so the outcome that Brenda has concluded is that she practices being confident in our club. And this continual practice has really given her some new self-confidence, and she is blown away by the result. And lastly, a super satisfied Toastmaster person, Ms. Alita Richmond. Alita is that member that is a long timer. And what makes a long timer? Initially, when we joined Toastmasters, right, you have some initial goals. And she admits that her initial goal, right, was to basically gain some professional development. But when she first joined her club, which was in Florida, the Florida Early Birds, she noticed an immediate connection, immediate social connection there. And that, along with this desire for professional development, continued her growth. In fact, when she moved, she retained her membership in Toastmasters. And she moved at a time where there weren't virtual meetings, folks. And she moved to our little neck of the woods here in southwestern Pennsylvania. She continued to use those leadership skills that she developed with that community. And then she joined our Toastmasters Club here in District 13 in 2020 and is really reinventing the wheel with the online virtual Zoom platform. Testimonial of Alita is Toastmasters offers a fun way to challenge oneself, plus an opportunity to give back. And Alita is highly involved in community leadership. So those are some of the reasons why members join our clubs. And what we need to do is think about how we can connect those goals to an outcome to continually keep them feeling satisfied, to feel like their goal is being met. One of those ways is to always have a quality meeting. Is to always have a quality meeting. And I'm going to stop sharing here. To always have a quality meeting. But, you know, other ways are to continue to foster that sense that they are making progress in your club. Carol is going to discuss strategies for how do we keep our club members re-engaged. Those may be those members that maybe aren't participating in your meetings or have actually not rejoined, and what one can do to reach back and pull them back into the club and to foster self-growth back with the club. Carol, looks like you're ready. Take it away, Carol.
Thank you, Marci. Well, as you can see here with our little paint splash slide here, we're going to talk about how we can bring our old members that are not currently in our club back. It's an inescapable fact that some members will transition into past members. The question is whether we can keep them involved and maybe get them to become active members again. So why do members not renew? Marci, if you want to look in the chat there, and audience, if you can put in a few thoughts there about why you think members don't renew their membership.
Why don't members renew? I'm monitoring the chat box. Oh, I see what I'm doing. Here we go. No sense of gain. Uh-oh. Life changes. Just too much work. Personal reasons. They moved. Never contacted again. Financial burdens. They don't fully commit. It's not getting the job done. It's not valuable. Lots of reasons coming in. This is very interesting. Work quit paying their dues. I've heard that one quite a bit. That's quite a Zoom fatigue. Zoom fatigue, Carol. Feeling that their progress is not acknowledged. Uh-oh. Meetings are not effective. Missing the in-person experience.
Okay, so we've got a variety of answers there as to why members in our clubs don't renew. Now, we're talking up here about, when we talk about past members, I think there's two different types of past members. There are past members that literally do not renew. They stop paying their dues. They quit the club. But there's also members that might be paper members. You know those people They came to 1 or 2 meetings at the beginning. They signed their application. They joined the club. They did some table topics. Maybe they did their icebreaker. When's the last time you saw them? Was it a year ago? 2 years? Have they been paying dues and not getting anything out of your club? Or was it more recently? Think about those people. Whoa, excuse me there, my screen just went crazy. Okay. So as I get back to that, if you put in the chat there, does anybody here, can you think of people in your club that have not renewed? And maybe why? Have they told you? Are they being about
I see.
it?
Health reasons, unable to update availability at work to become a member, moving to a new area. Priorities have changed, Carol. They
Hey,
want to motivate themselves with money, but it didn't work. Their workload demanded a change. Work conflicts. No interest in virtual meetings. So many reasons.
yes. Okay.
New
well,
baby.
Those are all great reasons. Certainly, yes, having a change in your family status can be a big reason why people take a hiatus from Toastmasters. And of course, these are all valid reasons. But we want to talk here a little bit about bringing members back. Marci mentioned their Zoom fatigue. People want to get back to in-person meetings. People's work situations have definitely changed over the past 15 months here. So think about your members. Maybe there was somebody that told you a year ago, I just can't come to another Zoom meeting. I'm in meetings 9 hours a day and I cannot do it for another hour at night, please. I'll come back in a few months. Well, we know it's been more than a few months, but things are starting to open back up. Some of us are doing hybrid meetings now. Some of us are transitioning to in-person meetings, or hopefully will be shortly as more libraries and other places where we meet open up. So think about how can you bring your past members back? You know, give them a personal invitation. Hey, I haven't seen you for a while. We miss your face. Are you still doing Zoom meetings at work? You know, sometimes these people have actually gone back to work, so they're having more face-to-face interactions at work, and maybe having that one Zoom meeting a week wouldn't be so bad for them. So don't just think that because somebody gave you a reason 15 months ago, they still have the same reason now. You know, maybe that young child is a little bit older and they're sleeping through the night. They can maybe have a little me time, mommy time, where they can go and engage with other adults. Okay. So here, there was a whole section here where we're going to break into breakout rooms, but in the interest of time, we're going to give you some homework. You'll be getting the workbook, and there's a whole exercise in there where I suggest you go back to your club and with your executive committee, talk about how to meaningfully re-engage your past members. You know, can you split things up amongst the executive committee and contact people again? You know, the worst time as a Toastmaster to be contacted is when it's June 30th and your club has 19 members and they need that 20th one. And they're desperate because they've got all their goals, or maybe they've got only 7 people and you have to have 8 to have a club. So yes, I'm not saying don't contact them in the next few days, but think about before we get to that dues renewal period on October 1st, you know, start contacting people in August, July, August, September, early September, and saying, we've missed you. You'd love to see you again at a meeting. Because if you don't, guess what? You're going to lose even more members, especially those paper members that haven't been engaged. what I'd like to suggest here is this exercise. You could work on it with your executive committee. You can give a speech about it to your club. You can craft some table topics questions and present them to your club. So try to get your club involved with thinking about, who are my past members? How do I contact them? And you might also think, wait, past members, gee, how would I figure that out? I mean, there's those past members that are still on your books. There's those past members you've lost a few years ago. In the chat, if people want to put, what's an idea you would have for how you would contact a past member? Let's say there's somebody you haven't seen for 2 years. They aren't paying dues, but how would you get back in touch with them again? Marci, if you want to read, if anybody has ideas in the chat.
Hey, we got meet for coffee.
Yeah.
Call them up on the telephone. Just say hi, call them up, have a friendly chat for coffee. Oh, maybe text messaging. I know I like that one. Just reach out, drop them an email, Snapchat, quick say hi, talk about some of the new things going on with Toastmasters, some of the new Toastmasters tools.
Okay, all right, thanks. Well, actually, this kind of leads into a story I have. A few years ago, I was sick for a few months. I and my club folded at work while I was out on medical leave. Now, I was still involved in one of my clubs, but just barely. And when it got to March 30th, I was really considering, not renewing my dues. And Verna Perry called me up and said, Carol, aren't you going to renew your dues? So it was that somebody reaching out and saying, hey, we know you've been out, we missed you, but we're just checking in with you. And I thought, if she hadn't reached out to me, I might have just faded away from Toastmasters and never returned. So you want to build opportunities for members to reconnect to your club here.
May I?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Carol, I just want to say that Verna did the same thing to me.
Great.
So probably the lesson we can learn from that is when you got something good, you don't stop at trying it with just one person.
That's right. So let's all be Verna and reach out to somebody that we haven't seen for a while. Let's say you've got something special coming up for your club. The Penn Hills Club, we're having our 20th anniversary coming up. And some other clubs have recently had 75th anniversaries, 70th anniversaries, whatever. There's a reason to have a party. There's a reason to have a special meeting. Invite your old members. You might say, how can I find my old members? Well, one thing you can do is club officers can actually look in there and they can find people that have achieved, they can find the names at least of people that have achieved educational goals. Now, you might not have the contact information, but guess what? I bet you could find those people on Facebook or some other social media. Or somebody may hopefully have some records from your club that has their contact information in them. So just do a little digging, do a little research, find those old members. And have a way to connect with them again. Now, I wanted to talk here a little bit. Whoa, and I have to get back up in my screens because I have a few people just that I wanted to highlight about why they rejoined Toastmasters. And my friend Daryl here, he was actually in this corporate club that I was in. And he moved to Fresno, California. So he had to leave the club. And then he came back to the Pittsburgh area. And one day, as I was leaving a Toastmasters meeting, he was coming down the hallway near the conference room and was, hey, I saw the Toastmasters sign on the door. Can I come back to a meeting? Great. So he did briefly, and then he got transferred to another location. And it was just kind of hard for him with his work to get back into it. And then he retired. And then he said, I was dealing with all this change in my life, personal things and work and stuff. And then COVID hit and I was feeling really isolated. So he was in lunch club one day talking to somebody he connected with there about various things. And they happened to be in Toastmasters. So that kind of spurred his interest to, wait, I need to check this out again. So it was a way for him, he thought, to reconnect with others. And it's connect with people he would have no other way of meeting. Okay, another person here that some of you may know is Paulette Harvey. She was actually our District 13 governor, which is now the district director. So she was the Patty of her time in 2010, 2011. And as you can see from the picture there, you know, she's a grandmother. She has several grandchildren, a new one here. So she's obviously very busy with that. Now, she was a member of the corporate club of the Bank New York Mellon Club when I first met her. And she returned to Toastmasters, she said, because it was the social aspect. Now, she's actually teaching public speaking for college courses now, but she wanted to see her friends again. And she had heard about Pathways and she wanted to check it out, see what it was all about. And lastly, she came back because Joe Arnold asked her. Ask people not only to join, but ask them to come back. And then here, Victoria, that Marci was talking about earlier, she told you why she joined Toastmasters, but she said she took a short break because the venue had changed and it was further away from where she lived. And she could have used that distance. Maybe that was her excuse. And then once COVID arrived and she had to do technical presentations on Zoom, she was just as nervous as she had been previously. And it hit her like this light bulb, boom, I can't hide anymore and I need to rejoin Toastmasters. She also said that she missed the core members from her group and her heart actually ached on having their encouragement and support. So once she rejoined, she was welcomed with open arms. And as she started to engage again, something really clicked. And seeing them get up there, realizing that sometimes they were just as nervous as she felt, made her realize she was home again. And she said she wants to stay in Toastmasters as long as Alita. So that's some people here that's their personal stories. So reach out to other people and get them to come back. And then they'll be sharing their personal stories about why they rejoined Toastmasters. So with that, I'd like to, okay, if you want to put anything in the chat here, what's one thing you've learned from this that you'll implement in your club? Marci, if you can monitor the chat.
Sure. Well, someone did comment that encouragement and support continues to be mentioned when people talk about Toastmasters. So certainly. We're about out of time, I'm told by Steve. We need to wrap up the session. Final words, Carol?
Thank you, everybody, for participating. And I hope to see you again soon. And bring one of those old members with you. Yay.
Everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marci and Carol. We're going to move right into breakouts now. So please either join the enhancing evaluation session